Hi, I'm Jenny, and today I thought I would look back at the books that I read in 2015 and pick out a few of my favorites, and also look at the books that are coming out in 2016 and again pick out a few that I'm really interested in reading. These are going to be 5 on either side because otherwise I will never shut up. One of the best books that I read in 2015, undoubtedly, it also won't come as a surprise to anybody watching, is Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer. This is Rick Riordan giving us a completely new world, which is also still tied into the world that we know, and it's a good exploration of Norse mythology and the gods and the kind of things that those myths deal with, and I absolutely love it. I love mythologically based books, which is why I love Percy Jackson so much and why I love the Kane Chronicles and now Magnus Chase. The second book, quite unsurprisingly again, is the Welcome to Night Vale novel. This is basically the entire Welcome to Night Vale podcast put in ink and paper, and I couldn't love it any more than I already do. It captures the abstractness of that world so well, and even though it starts off a bit slow, the story itself is amazing, it's fascinating, it's intriguing, it's a bit weird. Actually no, it's a lot weird, which is what Night Vale is. And if you haven't listened to the podcast and you want to read the book, do it. It doesn't matter if you haven't listened to the podcast. You can read the book. It gives you a fresh introduction to the world of Night Vale. And if you have listened to the podcast and for some reason haven't read the book yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? The third book is The Amazing Book Is Not on Fire. I am trash. I am not sorry. The fourth book is The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I am a huge fan of Patrick Ness. So literally, if you give me his grocery list, I will read it and I will be awed by it. So, quite obviously, this was one of my favorites. I actually haven't finished it. I started it recently. I'm not done with it, but it's Patrick Ness. I have complete faith in him. And finally, the fifth book is a book that I read last year, which came out in 2014, and it's The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. This is one of the most intriguing, most fascinating books that I've read. I watched Cloud Atlas when it came out, and I was fascinated by the whole world of the Cloud Atlas and the way it dealt with history and futures and just how lives intertwine and everything. And I love stories that do that. I haven't read Cloud Atlas, but I have the book and I intend on reading it this year. Bone Clocks, however, is a completely different story, but it still has its own take on rebirth and reincarnation and past lives and people, and it's just such a fascinating read. There we go, that is the top 5 books of 2015. Now, moving on to what I'm looking forward to in 2016. This time, except for one book, I have picked books that people might not have heard of that I find really interesting. The first one, which everybody probably has heard of by now, is The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan, the first book in the Trials of Apollo series. I am so happy that we're going back to Percy Jackson's world, and I know that Percy isn't going to be the main character, but I don't care. I need to go back to Camp Half-Blood, and that's where we're going. That's where we're going. Apollo gets thrown out of Olympus. I was gonna say heaven for a second, but that's not heaven, is it? Apollo gets thrown out of Olympus because he angered Zeus, and now he's been turned into a mortal, and so he goes to Camp Half-Blood, which is the only place he knows that he can find help of some sort. It comes out on May 3rd, and my sister's gonna buy it, so I'm gonna have to wait for her to finish reading it before I can read it. Unless, of course, I buy my own copy. The next book is The Life of Elves by Muriel Barbre. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but this is a book that deals with nature and music and how magic connects those two things. It's about these two girls called Maria and Clara. Maria possesses this kind of understanding with nature. Her powers are intertwined with nature itself, and Clara has this power with music. So when these two girls are brought together to explore their powers, they end up falling into this world of magic and monsters, and just whatever they do can change the fate of the world forever. I'm really excited to read this because I feel like this is going to be a lyrical sort of book, because these types of magic are more abstract than they are solid. They're not like wands and spells and incantations. It's completely different. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. Next is The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry. This is about a girl named Natalie whose reality starts shifting. She's in one place, but then it starts flickering and fading away into another place, and she spends hours in this other world that she has no idea about. And there is this old woman who tells her that she has only 3 days to save this boy. Natalie finds this boy named Bo, and she realizes that she'll do anything to keep them together. The fourth book that I'm really excited about is called The Girl from Everywhere by Heidi Heilig. It's about the 16-year-old named Nix, whose father owns this ship called the Temptation, which can go anywhere in time. As long as he has a map, it can go there. He finds a map that leads back to the time Nix was born. Nix's mother died giving birth to her, and he wants to go back and change that. He wants to bring her back. Now this can change Nix's life forever, most likely not for the good. And finally, the next book that I'm really excited to read in 2016 is called The Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. He wrote the Raya series, and this takes place in the same universe, and it's about a man who struck down a god. So once something that you revere and respect so much has been brought down to a very, very normal mortal level, the balance of power is twisted, and this is about that. And that is it for this video. If you have any books that you want to read in 2016, then let me know in the comments. I didn't mention a lot of the mainstream books because I feel like a lot of people will know them already, and except for The Hidden Oracle, all these books I found out by myself that other people hadn't talked about. So if there are any smaller scale books that you think that people should read, then let me know that as well, because I want to branch out. I want to read other than mainstream novels, because that's what I read a lot of mainstream novels, and I want to get into the slightly less known authors but good plot and good stories. I hope you have a great year. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. I forgot to mention that I have a side channel now for absolutely no reason except that I want to put up things that I won't be putting up on my main channel, but I still want people to see. It's called Ginny Does Nothing, and I've made 2 videos so far. One is of me singing, you don't have to watch that. Another one is a montage of all the books that I read in 2015, so if you want to check that, there will be a link in the description, and you can also go subscribe if you want to look at videos that have no content whatsoever, no context also whatsoever, and have no schedule. But you want to see one of my face, then you can surely go there, subscribe if you want. Bye. Hi, I'm Ginny, and I just wanted to talk about where this channel is going. Now, I've had this YouTube channel for 4 months now.